So there's a term that I've coined recently. It's called the tyranny of the popular. It's when what's popular drives our freedom of speech. That is the main driver of us having the ability or having the freedom to say things that we want to say things that are true, to say things that are corrective, to say things that are critical, and to ask questions about subjects that are either in doubt or that have already been more or less decided upon by the bulk of the people out there, although questions remain. So if you take an approach of questioning something, if you take an approach of being critical towards something, which may be an opinion, a conclusion, an attitude, then you will lose your rights to free speech according to how social media in the United States of America functions today. And this is being perpetuated, it's being made even worse by the government, as we've seen the leaders of these social media organizations, the founders and CEOs, come to the halls of Congress to testify. The Congress asks them a battery of questions, interrogates them as to what they're going to do now and in the future to curtail hate speech, undesirable speech that they're trying to clean up. The government doesn't want to have this kind of speech on the internet. And some of it can be quite ugly. If it's just somebody's just coming somewhere to flamethrow, they're just flamethrowers, you might call them trolls. They're just trying to make trouble. They're just trying to get on somebody's nerves. They're being disagreeable just to be disagreeable and for no other reason. And for things like that, well, that's something of a problem. I don't think that is the scope of the Congress and what they're trying to do. I don't think that it's as simple or as easy or as small as that. I think that their agenda is much, much greater than that. And the corrective measures, the solutions that social media have put forth, can resemble something like this, where you have somebody who goes into a channel that's already full of subscribers, it's already full of fans, supporters. You read these supportive comments, oh, you're so great, oh, you're so nice, oh, you have the best videos and you do the best, you would do this, that, and the other thing so well, and this is great, I love this, and more, I want more, when are you going to upload your next video, this is so good. You get these kind of people who, for someone who comes along who just happens upon a video and listens to what it's saying and recognizes factual errors being made in the presentation, some of which are causing the viewers to draw completely the wrong conclusions, outside of fact, outside of the truth. And you go and you try to bring this up, you try to correct people and say, hey, now wait a minute, that is not what happened. That is not what is known about this. You're spinning a web of deceit to your not only your subscriber base, but to your viewers and everybody else, and you're getting away with it because you're leaning on, or you're hiding behind the popularity of your own channel. And so you can get away with this stuff, and once you get away with it the first time, you're going to be even more likely to get away with it the second time and the third time and the fourth time. And it's a self-perpetuating process. And it starts to sound like an echo chamber in your YouTube channel the more and more this happens. I'll give you one example. And I'm bringing these examples to you through my own experience. So I know that they're legit, that happened to me, it could happen to anybody. And these are just small examples of what could happen on any YouTube channel anywhere every day, and it does happen on any YouTube channel anywhere every day. The first example, though, would be a guy named Ronnie DeFeo Jr. Who's Ronnie DeFeo Jr.? Ronnie DeFeo Jr., back in the 70s, murdered his entire family in cold blood. The defense attorney created a conspiracy theory in his defense where they were trying to deflect some of the blame. They were trying to rub some of the blame, most of the blame, for the murders off on his younger sister, Dawn. And the conspiracy theory goes that actually Ronnie didn't kill his entire family like he confessed to doing, like all of the evidence pointed to him doing. Actually, his little sister Dawn got up and started murdering the entire family, except for Ronnie, because he wasn't at home at the time. And so when Ronnie got home and saw what Dawn had done, he lost his mind, and she tried to attack him. And so in self-defense, he grabbed the gun out of her hands and shot her through the head. So then his whole family's dead. And he's like, well, how am I going to get away with this now? That was what the defense attorney tried to pull. It had no evidence. There's no basis in fact for that at all. It's rubbish. It's complete nonsense. But you will have YouTube channels doing their best to forward this conspiracy theory that Dawn was involved. Dawn was involved in this crime. Blame it on Dawn. Ronnie's still sitting in jail, of course, for 6 consecutive life sentences. So they've got him for, 150 years. He's never going to get out, of course, and but in order to make a difference in the case, that's what the defense attorney would try to do. They would try to put the blame on somebody else, recognize that anybody would have done what Ronnie DeFeo did when he came into the house and saw all these, his entire family was dead, and he was shocked, and he was enraged, and but this is what the YouTube channel would try to pull. And of course, their fan base, oh, we love this kind of stuff. You make these kind of videos all the time and entertain us and tell us Dawn was involved, she had, and then they start looking for every little tidbit of evidence they could find. They can put the blame on Dawn, this innocent girl. May she rest in peace, bless her heart. This innocent girl who was guilty of nothing else than getting shot in her bed like the rest of her family. Her memory has to be trudged through the mud by a pack of lies. So, I might come along, and in fact I did, and said, no, wait a minute, this is not factual. This has nothing to do with the evidence or what was determined by the courts. This, case has already been tried. Ronnie DeFeo has already confessed numerous times to the killings. You can look at his exact wording, which makes it all clear. Once I started, I couldn't stop. He couldn't stop. He just had to keep going around and killing everybody. So, it's all the evidence has been accounted for. It's a slam dunk case. He's guilty of murdering his entire family. He's going to rot in prison for the rest of his life. And, but they're still going to dig these conspiracy theories up. They're still going to dig them up and bring them back and try to convince people. And then they do. Then they convince people. So when somebody like me comes along, doubting Thomas, when I come along, I'm not a skeptic. I'm not going to put a label on myself. I think. I'm a thinker. I think critically. I ask questions, as everybody should be trained and raised to do, but of course they're not. They're raised to, and they're trained, very carefully trained, to accept what they hear, what they're told, what other people want them to believe, and that's what they believe. See, but you get like these little microcosms on YouTube of this, where you come into a channel and it's like the whole channel turns on you for asking the wrong question. The whole channel turns on you for doubting the narrative or for doubting the story that's being told. And so I'll leave a comment. My comment will get downvoted just tremendously. And it falls into this web, or it falls into this trap of the social media robots. There's human intelligence behind this. You can't say a computer banned me. You can't say a robot banned me. Every computer needs programming. There's human intelligence behind every computer program. So a computer doesn't do anything. A computer is just a box, okay, that you can put knowledge into, that you can put a program into to do what you want it to do, if the program runs correctly. And that requires a lot of testing, a lot of editing, a lot of compiling, a lot of errors. Once you get it running right and smooth, then you can go send it to the corporation that wants to run it. And YouTube, just for one example, is happy with the way these analogs work. And so if a video, if a comment does get downvoted 10 times, that's going to damage the reputation of the person who left that comment. Now, this isn't doing anything to prevent the things that, ostensibly, the things that they're trying to prevent, where it might be like crime. It might be like you're making threats to people. You don't want that. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. That would be something that you would want to prevent. You would want to prevent trolling. You'd want to prevent people, all the flamethrowers out there who are just trying to start trouble because it makes them feel good about themselves. You want to prevent that. But you don't throw out the critical thinking. You don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. And that's what's happening here with these YouTube analogs, with these YouTube automatons or robots. Maybe there are people behind this doing this. I don't know. It might even be worse than I say it is. And usually things are. When I spot something as being bad, in reality, it's usually worse than I even say it is. And that very well might be the case here. Let's look at another example. Another example would be Charles Manson. Now, there are numerous videos on YouTube about Charles Manson. And if you, again, it's the exact same situation that I just explained. If I would go on to one of these wildly popular Charles Manson videos, you look at the support that this guy gets, it's like 99%. 99% of his interview videos, and you can go look at them yourselves, are wildly popular with the YouTube community today. And if I do go and try to correct some of the more interesting comments that I read, some of the more blatantly supportive comments that I read, the same thing is going to happen to me. If I try to put a critical comment underneath a video like this, it gets downvoted 10 times or more. Maybe it gets downvoted 50 times. Eventually it gets downvoted 100 times. And you can't see the downvotes on comments. I don't understand why that is. You can see them on the videos, but why can't you see them on the comments? So every time somebody downvotes a comment that I leave, you can't see it. YouTube hides that from you. Why do they do that? Show that. Show the upvotes, or show the likes, and show the dislikes. Why are you hiding the dislikes? Why are you hiding reality? Why are you hiding... Just because somebody has a negative opinion about something that was said, you hide that? Why? What's the point of that? How does that stop a troll? How does that stop a flamethrower? How does that stop a threat? How does that stop a crime? Or any of these things that, any of these, good reasons that you might have, ostensibly, for doing the erroneous things that you do and making the community a lot worse than it would otherwise have to be. Why do you do that? Show those dislikes on the comments. Show my dislike. Show everybody that there was 390 people who liked the person praising Charles Manson on the Charles Manson video, and show that there was one person who came along on this video, me, who disliked the comment, the supportive comment under the Charles Manson video that everybody loves so much. Show that. It's okay. Nobody's going to get hurt. You're not going to get into legal trouble for showing that somebody disliked a comment. And so it gets to the point, and it has already reached the point, and it's been beyond the point now for a long time, but it has gotten to the point that popularity drives our freedom of speech. Just popularity. Doesn't have anything to do with right and wrong. It doesn't have anything to do with good and bad. It doesn't have anything to do with correctness or incorrectness, or with accuracy or error, which it should. Now, the freedom of speech should. These other elements should be baked into the cake. If we're going to be censoring people on social media, like the Democrat government would love us to do, let's get after Twitter and make sure that they're taking away those negative Nancys and those doubting Thomases. Got to get rid of those people so everybody can just be, it's a great big hug fest. Everybody can be fully supportive of everything, everywhere, all day long. Amen. The end. Republicans are going to go along with this too. They're going to interrogate the CEOs of these companies, of Google, of Facebook, of Twitter. They're going to interrogate these people with the implication, with the expectation that these CEOs are going to curtail, they're going to contain the freedom of speech of all of the users. Now, have these politicians and bureaucrats picked up a copy of the First Amendment and read it? Aren't they sworn by oath to defend the Constitution? Have they even read the Constitution? I don't think they have. I don't think they know what's written in the rule of law that they're supposed to have sworn an oath to, that they're supposed to be defending. That's their job. If you have that power, if you earn that power, if you take that power in this country, and you're a lawmaker, if you're a law administrator, if you're a law adjudicator, if you have that power in this country, you aren't sworn to curtail everybody's freedom of speech based on, good guidelines that you think that CEOs of major corporations should follow to control people. Your job is to defend the Constitution, which enumerates your powers and which explicitly grants rights, or rather doesn't even grant rights, it explicitly recognizes rights that the citizens of the United States actually have. That's your job. So you're not doing your job, you're doing an abortion of your job by even hauling these people in here in the first place. Now, it's independent of whether or not they have any responsibility. They might have responsibility and they might not. That's besides the point. The point is that as Congress people, as lawmakers, as executives, as officers and secretaries, judges and bureaucrats, your job is to defend what you have been sworn to defend. You took an oath. So this is what's happened to me, and I think this is happening to a lot of other people as well. I think that the exception to this, they'll allow this to continue. They'll allow this kind of automatic control to continue to violate people's freedom of speech. Now, this is sacrosanct. This is a huge deal, especially in the United States. Maybe not in other countries. Maybe some of the socialist countries, some of the communist countries, some of the fascist countries, some of the despots, and some of these, banana republics, they can get away with this kind of stuff. But this is the United States. This shouldn't be going on here. We've crossed the line. We've gone too far. And I don't think anybody even recognizes this yet. I think everybody thinks that, everything's going to be okay. This is fine. Let's just keep doing this. The government sure thinks that. Where the people's heads are at, I don't know. I think they're just going along for the ride, just like all this other stuff. Facebook comes out and says, hey, just give us all your information, surrender your privacy and your entire identity to us. We've got cute kitten pictures. We've got little puppies and kittens. We've got cute little kitty cats to show you, look at all this wonderful stuff. Come, join our, and everybody just runs there like a great herd, the great unthinking herd. They don't question anything. They just fall right into whatever hole somebody else dug for them. And we're doing more of that today with this. So I don't think people have the intellectual capacity to question this. I don't think people are thoughtful enough to question any of this. I think it's going to continue to happen. I think it's going to continue to get worse. And I think people are going to continue to be silenced and shadow banned like me. They're going to continue to get their rights clipped, get your rights cut off, while I guess these corporations and CEOs figure out what to do with the rest of our freedom of speech. Whatever's left dangling from the bone, that's still a problem. They still have to do more. They're going to get hauled back into Congress again, and they're going to have to do more, and they're going to find out how to take another pound of flesh that they want from the American people. And we're going to just let them do it. I don't see any... nobody's going to see this video either. Nobody cares about this. Oh my God, they're gonna, they're so worried about, what this election means, and how every single problem that the mass media ever had was dumped on top of Trump every single day. Trump was the only thing that mattered, and it was the only thing paid attention to. And every single problem in the universe fell right on Trump's head. Well, I guess if they're honest and they're consistent and they actually believe that, now everything is going to fall on Joe Biden's head. And it's like a country full of babies. It's like a country full of little babies, and everybody wants everything to be controlled in every way and made better and kept safe in every way by the President of the United States. And so there's going to be big expectations for Joe Biden to do something. And it's just like Joe Biden told his rich donors, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to fundamentally change. That's what the rich donors wanted to hear. And for once, I believe Joe Biden. I believe Joe Biden was telling the truth when he told his rich donors that nothing is going to fundamentally change.